Hi there, this is Patricia from patriciafenty.com, and today I have a tutorial on how to crochet these really fun shoe type slippers with a double sole. They're super comfortable and they are easy to make, but it is a slightly longer tutorial because there's quite a few steps, but not hard. It's just a number of steps, and you're just using a slip stitch, single crochet, half double crochet, and double crochet. So super easy to make. So let's get started. Now the yarn I'm using for these slippers are all thrift store finds, and they're all 100% wool. This is a hand spun wool, which is a lot of fun. So I'm going to use that for the tops of the slippers. So each top for my size 6.5, you're looking at about 38 to 40 yards per slipper top, so about 80 yards altogether. Of course, if you're making them smaller, you'll use less, and larger, you'll use more, but that's for the top of the slippers. For the soles, we're going to be making 4 soles altogether. This here was a Cowichan wool, and this was 6 strands altogether, but I pulled it apart to do 3 strands. And then this is another wool blend. And so because these are thrift store finds, I don't have the actual size weight of it, but based on some yarns that I already have here, this is a number 6 super bulky, this is a number 5 bulky. So I'm going to treat these as though they're a number 6 super bulky. The 5 is a little bit thin, but of course the way we're going to make these slippers is you're making them based on size and how your initial foundation chain works, but you want to use at least a number 5 bulky or a 6 super bulky. And then for each sole takes about 20 yards for the size that I'm making. So you'll need a total of 80 yards if you're making the double soles. Of course, if you're making a single sole, then you just need 40 yards. And then we have a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, a darning needle, scissors, and some stitch markers. Now to figure out the length of foundation chain you need to make the slipper for your size, you are going to take the size of your foot, the actual length, you want to measure that. I'm a 6.5, so my foot length is 9 inches, and you're going to subtract 2.5 inches. And that is the length you want to make your foundation chain. So I'll be making my foundation chain 6.5 inches long. I do have a chart in the blog post, and you can find that by going into the description box below the video and click on the blog post link. This calculation works for most sort of adult sizes and youth. Once you get smaller, the subtracting 2.5 inches isn't the exact right formula. You'd have to play around with that, but this will work for all the average sizes. So I know that I want to make a foundation chain that's 6.5 inches long. So I'm going to create a slip knot. And so of course for you, your foundation chain will be unique depending on your size. So we're just going to put the slip knot on the hook, yarn over, and create a chain 1. Yarn over, chain 2. And I do like to make these foundation chains a little bit on the loose side. You don't want them to be too tight. If you're not proficient with your crochet tension, I do have a video on proper crochet tension, or you can just go up a half a size with your crochet hook. So I know with this size yarn and this hook and my tension, that 6.5 inches for a foundation chain is going to be 19 chains. So I'm going to go ahead and do 19 chains, and I'll come back when I'm done. All right, so I have my 19 chains. So now we're going to work our way back up this chain, and not the first chain, but into the second chain. You're going to go into that top loop or back loop, go under just 1 loop, yarn over, pull the yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2, and that's a single crochet. And you're going to repeat doing single crochets up this one side. And for my size, I am going to be doing 8 single crochets If you are going bigger, you may need to do 9 single crochets, or if you're going smaller, you may do 7 single crochets. And if I'm going too fast, you can go to settings below the video, go to playback speed and choose 0.75, and that will go slower for you. So I'm going to do 8 single crochets. Now we're going to begin to increase. So we're going to increase to a half double crochet into the next stitch. So yarn over, go through that back loop, pull through. You've got 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, or all 3 I should say. And then again we'll do another half double crochet, yarn over, go into that loop, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Now again, if you're going smaller, you may end up doing just 1 half double crochet, or if you're going bigger, you may do 3 half double crochets. You'll just have to play around to get the number of stitches to the end of this chain. Now we're going to do double crochets to the end of the chain. So yarn over, go into that same stitch or the next stitch, going under 1 loop, and do a double crochet and a double crochet in the next stitch. And I'm going to do a total of 7 double crochets. And again, you may have to decrease that. You may do 6 double crochets, or you may do 8 double crochets. You'll just have to sort of figure that out depending on the size that you're working with. And the order that I would increase and decrease is I would start by either adding or subtracting a single crochet, and then I would either add or subtract a double crochet, depending which way you're going, and then I would add or subtract a half double crochet as the third option. And you may have to do, you know, 1 of each depending on your shoe size. And then as you get to the top of your chain, you're going to crochet, do double crochets to the very top. So there's 7. And then your very last stitch here, your last chain, you're going to do 5 double crochets. And that's going to bring you around the tip. So there's 1, 2, 3. And at the 3rd double crochet, which is going to be the middle stitch of the boot, you're going to put a stitch marker, so you know, of the sole, so you know which is the middle double crochet. It can be kind of hard to figure out sometimes. So there's 1 and 2. So that's 5 double crochets. And now you're just going to go back down the other side, repeating the same pattern that you did up here, but going in reverse. So I'm going to be doing 7 double crochets, going down this side, 2 half double crochets, and then 8 single crochets. And I'm trying to crochet in my tail. It looks a little bit awkward. Yeah, so I'll do 7 doubles, 2 half doubles, and 8 singles, and I'll see you at the end. All right, as you come to the end of this round, you'll see here, this little loop here, that is the part of the turning chain, so-called turning chain, the chain that you skipped. Here's your first single crochet on this side. So to join this round, we're going to go into not the single crochet stitch, but into that loop of what would have been that first chain, and just going under 1 loop, yarn over, and you're going to do a slip stitch. Now for round 2, you're going to chain 1, and then you're going to do a double crochet back into that same stitch. So yarn over into that same stitch, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and you're going to mark the top of that double crochet. All right, so now we're going to start working under both loops of the stitches. So in this first single crochet, yarn over, go under both loops of that first single crochet and do a double crochet. Yarn over, go back into that same stitch and do another double crochet. So you're doing 2 double crochets in the first stitch, and we're going to do 2 double crochets into the next stitch. And for the rest of this pattern, you're going to be working under both loops of each stitch. So 2 double crochets into that next stitch, going under both loops. And then you're going to do a double crochet into each stitch all the way to the top until you get to 2 stitches before your marker. So not the marker, so the marker, and then you count back 1, 2 stitches. So you'll double crochet all the way up to that stitch. So I'll see you there. Okay, so here I am, 2 stitches before the center stitch, and I've done single crochets all along, or sorry, double crochets along that side. And now to get around the tip, we're going to do 2 double crochets into this next stitch. And then 2 double crochets into the next stitch. And then into the center stitch, you can take your stitch marker out. You're going to do 3 double crochets into the top one. So 1, 2, and then this is the second of the 3 double crochets, which is your middle stitch. You want to mark that. And then 1 more into that same stitch. And then you're going to work your way back down this side, repeating the way you came up. So 2 double crochets, whoops, in the next stitch, 2 double crochets into the next stitch, and then you're going to double crochet all the way down this side until you get to 2 stitches before the end of this, before the tip. Now you have to remember that this is actually part of the double crochet. So once you get down here, it's going to be this stitch and this stitch that you'll be doing 2 double crochets, 2 double crochets, and then we'll join the round. So go ahead and work your way down that side, and I'll see you at the end. Okay, so I have my 2 stitches before the end of this double crochet, because this is like my chain 1 turning chain and then the double crochet. So here we're going to do the 2 double crochets to go around the heel. There's 2 in 1 stitch and 2 in the last stitch. So I'm not giving you the stitch count of the double crochets in between these sets of 2 double crochets, because your count is going to be different. So we're looking at using these markers to find our center stitches and do our 2 sets of double crochets as we come up to the center, and then down from the center, and then also around the heel. So now we're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of that first double crochet. So in this case, we are joining into the double crochet, going under both loops, and we'll do a slip stitch. And that's the end of round 2. Now, if you're doing a children's size sole, you may stop here because their feet, of course, will be narrower. Going on to an adult size, we're going to do another round of single crochet all the way around. If you're doing extra large, you may want to do this as an extra round of half double crochet. So you'll have to, adjust to that accordingly. So in order to carry on with this next round, we're going to do a chain 1, and then you're going to do a single crochet into that same stitch. And going under both loops, we'll do a single crochet, and you want to mark that stitch. That's your center heel stitch. And then you're going to do 2 single crochets in your first stitch going under both loops, and then 2 single crochets into the next stitch going under both loops, and then you're going to single crochet under each stitch there all the way up to the tip of the sole. And again, you're going to stop once you get at, here's your center stitch. You're going to count back 2 stitches and you'll crochet up to that 3rd stitch there from the center, doing single crochets in each stitch. So I'll see you there. Okay, as we come to the top of the sole here, then we've been doing the single crochets along the side. To get around the toe, you're going to do 2 single crochets in the next stitch and 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then take out your stitch marker for the middle stitch, and you're going to do 3 single crochets into this stitch. So there's 1 and 2, and you want to mark that middle stitch again, and then 1 more, 3, and then you're going to work down the other side, reversing the pattern. So 2 single crochets in the next stitch, 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then you're going to single crochet all the way down the side until you get 2 stitches from the end of this round. And I'll see you there. All right, as we come down to the heel here, we're almost done. So in the last 2 stitches, you're going to do 2 single crochets in each of these last 2 stitches. And then rather doing a slip stitch to join, which would leave you with a knot, I'm going to show you a different way to finish off this round. So you're going to cut your tail end, pull the yarn through, put the yarn on your darning needle, or the needle on the yarn, however you want to call it. And here is your first single crochet. Take that out, and you're going to bring the needle in from behind, going under both of those V stitches of that single crochet. And we're essentially just making a mock stitch here. And you're going to snug that up, make it the same sort of, whoopsie, I just accidentally pulled that tight. You want to make it the same size as the loop. And then you're going to come back down into that same stitch that the yarn is coming out of, right in between these V stitches. Put your needle through there, and you're going to bring it into the back and pick up. This is your back loop. This is your back bump. Pick up the back bump as well. And there you go. And that makes a really nice finish. And then you can just go ahead and darn in that tail end. And then that is that sole all done. Now, with this pattern for this sole, I don't know how this works, but when you crochet this up, you actually end up with a definite sort of indent here. So like a left sole, right sole shape. And so, you can go ahead and do 4 that are like that, and they'll all have this same shape. But what you could do is you could actually reverse the pattern partway through and make like a right sole, left sole, and do 2 of each. Because that way when you join them together, you can bring wrong sides together, and then we'll be slip stitching this together, and you'll have your right side out and your right side out. If you're not fussy about that, you don't have to do that. You can go ahead and just make 4 pieces, 4 soles using that pattern. But next I'll show you how you can reverse it so you have sort of a mirror image of that stitch pattern. Now, if you want to do this sole in reverse, make like a mirrored sole, what you can do is at the end of round 1, you're going to join as before in that first chain where you turned not into the single crochet, but into that chain, and do a slip stitch. And then you're going to chain 1. And rather than doing the double crochet here and working around this way, you're going to turn your work and go in the opposite direction. So then your first stitch will be a double crochet back into that same stitch. And then you want to mark that double crochet as before. So that's the center of your heel. And then you're just going to repeat the same pattern of round 2 all the way around, where you're doing your 2 double crochets in the first 2 stitches, and then 1 double crochet all the way up the one side until you get to 2 stitches before center. And then in those 2 stitches before center, you'll do 2 double crochet, 2 double crochet. You'll do 3 double crochet in the center stitch and then mark your center again. And then you'll come back down this side in the same pattern. And then you'll continue with your 3rd round of single crochets going in the same direction. You won't turn your work. So carry on and do that if you want to have a reversal. Welcome back. Surprise, surprise, I have a different color for the other 2 soles of my slippers. So this is one of the challenges with having thrift store finds. This yarn here, this light gray yarn that I demonstrated with, it appeared to be a number 6 weight yarn, but once I was crocheting with it, it turned out it had a lot of fluff in it, and it ended up being more like a number 5. And I tried a variety of things to make these soles the same size. I had a very limited amount of this light gray yarn, and I just couldn't make it work. So threw that out, and I did the 2 soles in the same yarn that I'm going to use for the top of the slipper. So once you have your soles, your 4 soles all ready to go, we're going to slip stitch them together. And so you can see I clearly have this, right sole, left sole, right sole, left sole. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the mirror soles of each other and bring them together. And same here, and we're putting wrong sides together. So here we have right sides together, and this is going to be the inside of the sole for me, and this is going to be the bottom of the sole. Ideally, I would have this as the inside sole and this is the bottom, but it'll be really hard for you to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to put the dark gray as the inside of the sole, and I'll show you next how to slip stitch that together. All right, so with your soles wrong sides together, right side facing out, your stitch markers should line up for the heel and the toe, and you want the side facing up that will be the inside of the slipper sole. So we're building the slipper on top of this, so this is where your foot would be, and then this sole would be on the ground. So with your foot side facing up, we're going to start by putting the crochet hook in under both loops of the heel center stitch. Take that stitch marker out for now, and then through under both loops of the single crochet from the other sole, and we're going to take the yarn and we're just going to put it on the hook and pull it through all 4 loops. I know it's a little bit hard to see with these colors, and then you're going to go over to the next stitch just with that loop on your hook, and go under both loops of the next stitch of the top sole and under both loops of the bottom sole, yarn over, pull the yarn through all 4 loops, and then through the loop on your hook, and that's a slip stitch. Now you're going to mark that because that's your center stitch, We always want to keep track of our center stitch because they don't always look like they're in the center. So then going under the next stitch, going under both loops of that single crochet and under both loops of the single crochet on the lower sole, pull the yarn through all 4 loops and then through the loop on your hook, and that's a slip stitch. And then over to the next stitch, going under both loops of the other sole, yarn over, pull through all 4 loops and do a slip stitch. So you're going to slip stitch all the way around, going under both loops of each piece of the sole, pulling through all 4 loops and then the loop on your hook, and that's slip stitching it around. You're not going to be increasing or anything, you're just going to go stitch by stitch all the way around, and you'll have the slip stitches sitting kind of on top of the sole like that. So carry on and I'll see you at the end. All right, here we are, slip stitched all the way around, have 1 stitch left to go. I took my stitch marker out because I actually just had to refilm this. This was the first stitch, obviously. So do the last slip stitch, and this hand spun yarn is into a really thin piece right here. So that's the last stitch of slip stitching. Now you're going to have to bring this yarn from the back up to the top in order to do the first round of single crochet. So you're just going to go under that first slip stitch, and this might be a bit loose because we haven't darned this tail in yet, but that's okay. And you're going to bring the yarn up over the heel here, go under those 2 loops and do a slip stitch. So that's completed the round of slip stitch. So now, not the stitch you joined to, but going into the next one, you're going to go under both loops and we're going to do a single crochet. So yarn over, bring the yarn under both loops. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and that's your first single crochet. And that's where you want to put your stitch marker back on. And now we're simply going to single crochet under the slip stitches all the way around. So going on to the next slip stitch, going under both loops, yarn over, pull the yarn through. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Go to the next one, under both loops, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. So you're going to single crochet under these slip stitches all the way around, and they can be a little bit tight to get under, but you can work that out. And you're not doing any increasing at all here. You're just literally doing a row of single crochets all the way around into every slip stitch that you have. So I'll see you at the other side. I forgot to mention that as you come around with your slip stitching, you're going to have these 2 stitches off center because you're mirroring the soles together. So you're going to have sort of 2 center stitches, which is what you want. So just leave your stitch markers in there and continue doing your single crochet round all the way around. Okay, so here we are at the end of round 1. There's my stitch marker. Do the last single crochet, and we're going to join into that first single crochet with a slip stitch. Now for this pattern, we're going to actually turn for each round, and that's going to create a really fun texture for the single crochet stitch. If you want, you can continue just going round and around, but we're going to turn. So you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. And now we're going to start decreasing on the heel end. So there's your joining stitch. You're going to skip this stitch and do your single crochet into that next single crochet. And then you can mark that single crochet as your first single crochet. And now you're just going to single crochet going under both loops. This entire stitch pattern is going under both loops of the stitches. And you're going to single crochet under both stitches, going all the way around and It's very simple, and we'll see you at the end. And oh yeah, and I was going to mention, as you go around the tip of the toe here, you can move your stitch markers up for your 2 middle stitches there. So each round, just bring them up. So carry on, single crochet, and we'll see you at the end. All right, as we come to the end of round 2 and you're coming back to the heel, here is your beginning single crochet. Here's your chain, your turning chain, and here is this last stitch. You're going to actually skip that stitch. So we're skipping the first stitch and the last stitch of each round. We're going to be doing that all the way through the entire pattern now. So there's my single crochet. I'm going to skip that stitch and join into the first single crochet with a slip stitch. Pulling that a bit snug, because with this yarn it's so varied in its size. So if it's thin, I do a bit of a loose stitch. If it's thick, I do a bit of a tight stitch. So there's our join. So for round 3, you're going to chain 1, and if you're going in the same direction, you'd keep going in the same direction, or we're going to turn our work. And then again, you're going to skip that first stitch, so not your turning chain, but the first stitch, you'll skip that, and you'll do a single crochet going under both loops of the next stitch. This is so that you decrease on the heel so that you have a nice tight heel. Put your stitch marker in there so you know that's your first single crochet. And now you're just going to carry on doing a single crochet into the under both loops of the single crochet from the previous row. And you're going to work your way around until you get to 4 stitches, including this middle stitch here. You're going to count back, including that one, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going to stop at this stitch here. And I'll come back and show you what we'll do there. So carry on, stop at 4 stitches before center, and I'll show you what we'll do there. Now we're going to start doing some reducing stitches around the toe. So what you're going to do, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do a single crochet 2 together stitch. So you're going to go under that, the both loops of that first stitch, yarn over, pull that through. You're not going to complete the single crochet. You're going to go in the next stitch, going under both loops, yarn over, pull that through. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops, and that's a decrease. And you can take this stitch marker out, and there we go. And then into the next stitch, you're going to go under both loops, yarn over, pull through, go under the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, and you're going to mark that because that's your new center right. And then you can take this stitch marker out. And you go under there, and we're going to do another single crochet 2 together. So yarn over, pull through, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And you put your stitch marker back in that stitch. That's your new center left. And you're going to do this one more time. So you're doing 4 of these in a row. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. So we've now gone from 8 stitches to 4. And then you're just going to carry on doing a single crochet again under each stitch until you get around to the heel. So I will see you there. Now coming to the end of round 3, we're at the heel. Here again is my single crochet. This is my turning chain. This is the very last stitch in the row, and we're going to skip that stitch. So you're always skipping the first stitch and the last stitch of every round. So I'll do a single crochet, skip that stitch, and join into this single crochet going under both loops. So these stitches are kind of turned in, so make sure you're going under the V stitches of those those stitches. So you're going to do a slip stitch, and then chain one and turn, or chain one and keep going in the same direction. If you keep going in the same direction, your heel center is going to kind of just keep going that way, but that's fine. So turn your work. And again, you've got, so there's your chain one, there's the last single crochet. You're going to skip that one, go into the next stitch under both loops and begin round 4. Now round 4 is where we're going to really change things up. So you are going to just carry on doing the single crochet at the heel end of the slipper, and you're going to work your way around until you get to 6 stitches from the center. So that is, we've got the center one, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you can just mark that. And so you're going to single crochet up to there. So I'll see you when you're there. Okay, here I am. So here I am, I'm 6 stitches from center, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in the last stitch before that one, we'll just do a single crochet, and then you can pull that stitch marker out if you've been using them. Now we're going to start to build the top of the toe here. So we're going to do a half double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So yarn over, put that through both loops, yarn over, pull through. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Then you do another half double crochet into the next stitch, so yarn over, and you're always working under both loops of these stitches, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Now we're going to start to do some more reducing around the toe. So we're going to do a double crochet 2 together stitch. So start a double crochet, yarn over, go in under both loops, yarn over, pull that through. You've got 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops only. Go to the next stitch, yarn over, go through, yarn over, pull through. You have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. You'll have 3 left, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And that's your double crochet 2 together stitch. Go into the next stitch. We'll take the stitch marker out. Now we're coming into the center of the slipper, and we'll do this again. So yarn over, go into the first stitch, pull that through, yarn over, do half a double crochet. Go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through. You have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. You'll have 3 loops left, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Now you want to be careful because this stitch here can sometimes get long with your tension. You can tend to pull that a little bit loose. Try to keep that one nice and snug. You're going to mark this because this is your new, I keep changing stitch color markers, but that's your new center left. So we'll do that again. Take out this stitch marker, repeat that again. So yarn over, go in and begin your double crochet, go to the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, just do half your double crochet. You've got 3 loops left, yarn over, pull through all 3, and this is now your new center right stitch. There we go. And we'll do it one more time. Yarn over. So we're doing this 4 times around the tip of the toe. We're doing 4 double crochet 2 together stitches. 3 loops left, yarn over, pull through all 3. And now we're going to decrease with those half double crochets. So into the next stitch, you'll do a half double crochet. And into the next stitch, you'll do a half double crochet. You can take that marker out so you know you ended up back at the right spot on the other side. And now you're going to single crochet all the way to the heel. So go ahead and do that, and we'll see you at the heel. Now coming to the end of round 4, there's my last single crochet there. So I'm going to skip that one. So again, at the beginning and end of each row in the heel, you're going to skip the last stitch and the first stitch. So take that stitch marker out. and go into that single crochet with a slip stitch, and then chain 1 and turn your work. And now all you're going to do is you're going to repeat round 4 for as many times as you need to get the toe closed. So you may need to repeat it 3 more times, 4 more times. It just depends on the size of the slipper, maybe even 2 times if you're doing a really small slipper. So again, you're just going to skip that first stitch and do a single crochet into the next stitch and mark that. I forgot to mark mine last time and lost my way. And then you're going to just single crochet all the way around until you get to 6 stitches from center. So you count back, including the center one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you single crochet to there, you'll do a half double crochet, a half double crochet, and then you'll do a double crochet 2 together 4 times. So 1, 2, mark your center, 3, mark your center, 4, mark your center, and then a half double crochet, and back to a single crochet. So carry on, repeat round 4 for as many times as you need to, and until you get a nice, comfortable opening for the slipper. And I'll see you there. Welcome back. So I did another 3 rounds of repeating round 4. So I have a total of 7 rounds, and I have the slipper to almost done. So you can see here how the heel, by decreasing at the heel, you're getting a nice little angle here so it's not too loose in the heel, and we've got the whole shoe part being fitted. And so there's one more round. Once you get it to the point where it almost fits, but it's still a little bit too big, there's going to be one more round of single crochet. So here I've got a 5" by 2 3/4 inch opening thereabouts, and we'll do one more round of single crochet. All right, so I've joined my 7th round here. So I'll do a chain 1 and turn. So for this last row of single crochets, we're not going to decrease at the heel anymore. So you've got your turning chain. Instead of skipping that stitch, you're going to single crochet into that stitch and going under both loops. And you can mark it if you like, so it's easy to find. I find that this yarn is a little bit hard to see the stitches in, so just marking it. So now you're just going to do single crochet all the way around until you get to the front tip here, and you're going to stop at 1 stitch before center. So I'll see you there. Okay, here we are at 2 stitches before center, and we're going to do a single crochet 2 together stitch. So yarn over, pull through that 1 stitch before center. We can take this marker out now and go in and pull that through. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, and then you'll do that in the next stitch. And go in and pull through. You'll have 2 loops on your hook, go over to the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And then you'll just single crochet until you get back to the heel again. I've zoomed out a little bit so I can get more of the slipper in. So then in this case, as we come around for this last round, there is that single crochet. You're not going to skip that. We're not decreasing at the heel anymore. So you do a single crochet in that last single crochet, and then take that stitch marker out, join with a slip stitch into that beginning single crochet, and then you can do a chain 1 and fasten off. Pull that through, snug that up, and then you would go ahead and darn your tail end in through the back there, and then you have this beginning tail end to darn in as well. Now this yarn that I'm using, it's a little bit, because it's hand spun, it's kind of wonky and all that. Here, I'll just pull out a little bit. So yeah, but you can see what a nice slipper shape that makes. And it's very cozy. This is a nice opening. Now, of course, if you wanted to, you could carry on doing rounds of single crochet and bring this up higher so that you'd have a bit of a booty if you wanted to. But that's a nice angle for the heel and a nice shape for the top. So I'll dart in my tail ends and I'll come back for the final reveal. Welcome back. Here we are, all done. I am just so thrilled with how these turned out, and they fit just like a shoe. And the double sole for the bottom makes them nice and cushy. And if you wanted this part to be a little tighter, you could just do another round of single crochet, or if you could repeat this last round and do those 2 single crochet 2 together stitches at the top. Again, you could keep going and make it into more of a booty. So yeah, these are so much fun. I just really love this pattern. I love the yarn. It's really pretty. So I hope this tutorial was enjoyable for you, and please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And when you subscribe, make sure you go into the notifications and choose all, because otherwise, even if you're subscribed, YouTube won't show you my videos. So anyways, thank you for joining me. We'll see you next time.